I'm about to get it in, babe. Check it, check it, check it, check it. Rhyme, 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 rhyme. Check it, check it, check it, check it. Rhyme, 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 rhyme. Check it, check it, check it. Rhyme, rhyme, rhyme. I mean, that's all they do, right? Skirt. Beep. Boop. Beep. Skirt. Boop. Beep. Hey, hey, get it. I mean, that's pretty much all they do, right? I don't know. But anyway, oh man. Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. And today we'll be talking about one of the best things that a lot of us should have done right before COVID-19, or maybe, a year before COVID-19, coronavirus. Where's the best place to put your emergency savings? But I think we need to have a deeper level conversation when it comes to this, because a lot of us don't have the capacity or the mind frame or the mindset, rather, to actually start saving some money. Good morning, Lisa Williams and everybody else in the chat room. Okay. I know everybody, go ahead and put your tag in there. Everyone say hello, 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 so we see who's here today. But nonetheless, I kind of want to get you guys in the mind frame that this won't be the only emergency. This won't be the only time where you're going to have to dig down into your savings. I know a lot of people, they didn't want to get into their savings. They didn't want to go down into their savings. I'm like, why? This is what your emergency savings are for emergencies. A lot of people lost their job. A lot of people got furloughed. People, hours got reduced, pink slips. Some people was forced to retire. But this is why you have your emergency savings. Now, some of you who were living paycheck to paycheck was beating the hell out of you. You're just like, you're stupid, right? Because essentially you made a decision not to save. See, when you are saving or saving for an emergency, what I realized that people go into that emergency fund for every reason except an emergency. For every reason except for an emergency. Okay? And a lot of people, they're using their emergency funds to invest. They're using their emergency funds to down payments on cars, down payment on houses. This is not what your emergency fund is used for. Now, currently, I used to do a lot of high yield savings videos, and the rates are variable. Okay, this is kind of, we were talking about credit cards yesterday. Savings rates are variable just as well because they fluctuate with inflation and with the current market conditions, because these financial institutions invest your money. Okay, best place to put your money. Now, I have a couple of banks up here for you guys, but essentially, you're not going to get anything over 1% right now. You're not, unless you big balling. You're not going to get anything over 1% right now. Okay, this bank right here is only 0.5%. This bank right here is only 0.5%. Discover Bank, 0.5%. Okay. Penn Fed, 0.60%, not even 1%. A lot of the high yield savings, especially last year, were over 1.5, even up to 2%. I have my money in a lot of high yield savings accounts. But you're still asking yourself, where do I put my emergency savings? And let me define emergency savings, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of us, we will lose wind of what your emergency savings is. Let me just break this down in the most calmest way possible. It's for emergencies. When you lose your job, when there's a death in the family, okay? When there's a copay on your medical insurance and you don't have the regular money in your bank account, you go into your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is not a backup when you spend all of your discretionary cash, meaning you paid all your bills, You paid yourself by putting money in your savings account, and you put money into your investment account. Okay. Your emergency fund is not for you to go in there and nitpick, okay, and shave off the top because you wasn't doing well with the remaining amount of cash you had in your bank account. This is not what this is for. These are simply for emergencies. And I tell people, you know, I keep a little bit of money in my car for emergencies. Lose my wallet, I break down, I have cash in my car. I also keep an emergency credit card in my car. These things are very vital. But a lot of you are still asking, should I put my money in a high yield savings account? Well, really nothing right now is high yield savings. Okay, now these are a lot better than your bank, okay, because your banks, I'll go into the banks in a second here. But if you're looking at some of these rates, 0.61, 0.70, these are the savings amounts, okay? And some of these do have stipulations, okay? Let's see here. Some of these have stipulations. Let's look. Okay, 0 minimum to open and no monthly account maintenance fees. That is what you're looking for when you're putting your emergency fund. You don't want your emergency fund money to be deducted and garnished just because you have a bank account. Okay, just because you have a bank account. You don't want any fees at all. No monthly fees, no minimum balance, no maintenance fees, nothing. Zada, the most you should have on a good savings account, if they say, hey, you at least have to open this account with $100. You at least have to open this account with $500, but no fees. That is where you're putting your emergency money at. No fees. Now, let's see here. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Now, Lisa Williams says, do you suggest using online banks? I've been considering Ally Bank. Yes, I do suggest you use online banks. I do suggest you use any bank that give you the highest rate of return on your money. But make sure that bank is registered with the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Company, okay, corporation. And let's get into that as well, okay? Because you said Ally Bank. So I'm going to show you guys something very quickly. Very easy. Anytime you see a lot of these online banks and you're not familiar with the name because the only thing you know is big banks, U.S. Bank, Bank of America, Navy Federal, USA, Bank of Texas, I don't know. What else is big out there? Chase, all these other banks, right? So what you want to do is you go right to FDIC. This is a federal government website because this is what the money is insured by, okay? And you type in the name of that bank, okay? You type in the name of that bank to make sure, and it's important, okay? Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at Allied Bank. Did I put this in the wrong section? I put this in the wrong section, I believe. Give me 1 more second. Sorry about that. Let me go back. There's a link over here. There's usually some information on the side. Data and nope, that's not it. How can we help you? They changed his website. I'm sorry about this, but there was a little. Here we go. Bank find. Here we go. That's what you're looking for, the bank name. And I'm just going to type in Allied Bank. Make sure I spell this right. Okay. And I see Allied Bank. I'm going to search for it. And it should pop up. Now, here's a ticker with this, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a ticker with this. When you're making sure to put your life savings in a bank and you're looking for the highest possible rate, you have to do your due diligence and go to the FDIC.gov website, which is a federal government website. Good morning, Cool DJ. Good morning, Nolan Baptiste. And you want to make sure that the address of where you're putting your money at matches this address. And also on that bank site, a lot of them list their FDIC number. You see this number, FDIC. It says active. FDIC status is active. Allied First Bank, okay? But you want to make sure, I'm going to just type in Allied Bank. Their number is 91. Let's look into this. Now, it says right here, inactive. If this Ally Bank is the one you're referring to, I wouldn't put my money there. You see the address. This is in Arkansas, I believe, in Crawford County. And it says inactive as of September 23, 2016. So their money is not FDIC insured. And then my thing is, I'm not going to even legitimize that bank if it's not listed here, which is imperative for you to put your life savings into. Because essentially, when it comes to high yield savings in your emergency fund, you really shouldn't be looking for, because you're not going to make any money off your savings account. Okay. Most of us are saving what, $3, $5, $10, $20,000 inside of our bank accounts at what, 0.60%. You're not making no money off of that. You're going to make more, investing. You're going to make more money investing, but this is not about investing. Okay. This is about high yield savings. This is about high yield savings. This is not about investing. Because investing, let's take, for instance, my portfolio. This will give you guys some perspective here, that my portfolio over the course of time is 101%. Over the past year, okay, looks like 101%. Okay, 3 months, I'm at 49%. You're not going to get nowhere near is that return on your bank account within a year. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. But first and foremost, if you go with an online bank, because I've been with a lot of online banks. Let me see. I was with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Anybody know about that one? They were giving really good rates. Okay, they were giving really good rates. I don't know where they're at now. Let's see. High yield savings. Looking to high yield savings. They was giving really good rates, and I'm not marketing for them. I'm kind of giving you guys some context here so you guys understand. Okay, they're 0.50%, but they were up last year. Every bank was a lot of the high yield savings banks were up at least over 1% last year. Almost, I had my money in a 2% account, but right now, no one's giving that amount of money. Okay, no one's giving that amount of money. So when I'm looking at these accounts right here. Okay. Value Bank. I used to do business with Value Bank. Ally Bank. But if you notice, the highs you're getting right now for most consumers is what? 0.60%. But you do want to put your money in the highest APY account that you can find. You want to put your money there because, of course, you want to make a little money with your money. But again, this is your emergency fund. This is your emergency fund. And I can't tell grown men and women what to do with their money, but I'll give you some advice. Do not use your emergency fund for anything except your emergency fund. And a lot of people, even to this day, are like, what goes into my emergency fund? How much money should I save? Then the first question I have for you is, what's your lifestyle? Figure out your lifestyle, because your lifestyle is going to dictate how much money you save a month. What are your monthly expenses? Factor that in as well. Your income, your dependents, your spouse, etc. And the going number that everybody's been using for the past 2 decades is 3 to 6 months of your monthly costs, of your monthly expenses, including your lifestyle. If you like Starbucks coffee, you're like, nope, I don't want to make it at home. I want to spend $8 on my grande cup of sugar. Then albeit, make sure that's part of your emergency fund. Make sure that's part of the expense that you start saving in your emergency fund. Because the one thing that people try to do is nickel and dime their emergency fund. Don't nickel and dime your emergency fund. Don't nickel and dime your emergency fund. Because I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people were not good with their finances. And when COVID-19 came, there was a lot of people eating canned food. There was a lot of people eating canned food outside of the house, outside of the apartment they used to have, because you were not good stewards and good people of your finances. I'm just keeping it real. And I've been there too. I've not always been good with my finances. And every now and again, I get a while here and I'll spend $1,000 or so. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have bought that, but But that happens every now and again. That happens every now and again. Let me read some of your notes here. I see people talking. See, Cool DJ says, what do you think about Ally Bank online savings account? They're good. They're good. I can vouch for Ally. I used to have an account with Ally about 2 years ago when they had some really good savings. But I mean, other than that, okay. Let me continue here. Now, the reason why you want to put your money inside a emergency, the reason why you want to put your money inside of a savings account and not an investment account. Here's another thing. Don't use your 401k. Don't use your IRA as your emergency savings account. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you're going to pay a penalty. That money is trapped inside of those retirement accounts. And so there are benefits for keeping that money inside that retirement account. And then there's penalties taking that money outside of your retirement account before you're, 60 and a half or something like that, right? I used to know the numbers like by heart. But nonetheless, there are penalties for that. And they're going to take away from your wealth. They're going to take away from the bag. That's going to take away from your purse. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen at all. So this is why you need a separate account from your retirement accounts. So don't get it twisted. Your retirement accounts, your 401k, your 403bs, okay, your IRAs, will either be Roth or traditional. These are not your emergency savings account. These are not for you to dig into and help yourself out when you get in trouble. Now, granted, I do digress with this one because the federal government allowed everyday people to go into their 401k without high penalties because of the pandemic. Now, this pandemic has been going on February, March. So for people who lost their job and couldn't obtain another job, we are already past the 6-month period. So take, for instance, you were good with your finances and now you're past that 6-month period. Okay. And hopefully you were trying to get another job, create a job, try to generate some sort of revenue and income. But if you couldn't, then yeah, that's going to be your last resort because at the end of the day, you got to feed yourself and your family. So then you go into your 401k, your IRA and get some money out. But that's your last resort, okay? Like Papa wrote, this is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. I mean, yeah. But you know what I'm getting at, okay? So a lot of times people like to put their emergency funds into CDs. Don't do it. Don't put your money into CDs because you don't have accessibility in the emergencies. Okay, I want you guys to think about the largest emergency, not the largest emergency, something that's totally out of pocket, meaning you're driving through the US. Okay, I remember I was in Alabama. And there was a sign that said, last gas station for 100 miles. That's what it said. Last gas station for 100 miles. So I got over and got some gas. Now take, for instance, you broke down and you were broke. You had a full tank of gas, but you broke down and you didn't have any money. Picture that situation where you're in the middle of nowhere, but you don't have any money either. So it's like your situation is, I mean, I can't even explain that. You were broke and you're stranded, but your car has a full tank of gas, but it broke down. Think about that. So I don't want to be stranded and broke. This is why your emergency fund is so important, because whenever you get to a garage or an exit, you can eat, you can get a tow truck, and then you can rent a car. You get what I'm trying to say? Like if you had no money in your pocket, but you had an emergency fund, that's different. You can dive into that emergency fund and you can justify that emergency. You can justify that emergency. But the problem is, men and women alike, I know some people, they go inside their emergency fund because of a clearance sale. Oh, well, I don't get paid till, but you know what? I got 10 grand in my emergency fund. So I'll just replace it Don't you know you do that? You know you do it. I know people who go into their emergency fund and I'm going to put the money back in there. That becomes a trend, and it also becomes a snowball that turns into an avalanche. Because once you do it once, you're going to do it again because of this clearance sale with furniture or your shirt or your shoes or your curtains or your pots and pans or, your emergency fund is something like your washer and dryer goes down. That's an emergency. You live in a house, your washer and dryer goes down. Yeah, go ahead and go to the emergency fund, buy your new washer and dryer. Then put that money back into the emergency fund. That's an emergency. Your stove goes out. That is an emergency. Go in and put money. No, you don't feel like cooking today. Taking money out of your emergency fund is not an emergency. Nope. You and your girls and you and your boys are going out to go eat at True Kitchen and Cocktails to go see the twerk off. No, that is not an emergency. Not an emergency. Oh, man. Let's see here. Let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat here. You're welcome, Lisa Williams. Not a problem. D-World Grayson says, good morning, Outlet Finance, 6% savings account alternative. What do you mean by that? Can you expound on that? Can you talk more about that? All right. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think the perspective that you need to have when it comes to your emergency fund is the mindset that you need to have. And the one thing that you need to do is put yourself on a monthly allotment to save some money. To put yourself on a monthly allotment to save some money. I know a lot of my viewers, you guys are, big time investors. What I mean is, I don't mean like you got millions of dollars. I mean, some of you do, I'm pretty sure. But what I mean, big time investors, that you invest every month. You invest every week, right? You're a consistent investor. But what's most important than investing is that you need to be a consistent saver. Let me tell you why. When you invest your money in the stock market, the one thing they make sure they tell you that there are what? No guarantees. There are no guarantees in investing. But there are guarantees when it comes to saving. Okay? Most FDIC insured accounts are backed by the federal government for $250,000. Your money will be insured up to $250,000. That's your insurance from the federal government. Excuse me. That is $27 trillion in debt. I mean, damn, I shouldn't have said that loud. But nonetheless, your money will be insured, okay? Your money will be insured. But in investing, I tell people you can't. Someone told me, I said, man, where do you have your emergency savings? And he said, oh, in my investment account. I was like, you have your emergency savings, like in case the worst happens in your house, your home, your life, in your investment account. He was like, yeah, when I got an emergency, I just go take some money out of my investment account. And I said, what if the stock market crash? And he was like, oh. And I'm just like, the better part of me, I wear a veil, I wear a mask. And I was like, that's not a smart decision, brother. But what I really want to say is you dumb as hell. That's what I'm just being real. Like, I've never heard of someone putting their emergency savings in their investment account. So think about this. If you consider your 401k or your IRA your emergency savings, then you're a fool, because that's an investment account. I mean, literally, that's an investment account. They use your IRA money and 401k money, and they use it in investments, because you can go into your employer or whoever's holding your account and say, hey, what stocks are you invested in with my 401k? Because if you notice, Your 401k and your IRA goes up when the market is up and goes down when the market is down. Your retirement accounts are investment accounts. So please don't put your emergency savings that you're going to need access to in your investment accounts, in any investment account. Doesn't matter, because you're going to be you're a fool if you do that. Okay? And please, no one ever, please, ever tell me that your savings money is inside in your investment account, because I'm going to say with my mask on, hey, that's not really a smart decision, brother. That's not a really smart decision, sister. But under the mask, I'm saying you're a damn fool. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, okay? Even if I didn't know about money, that's what would be dumb. Like, how are you going to save and invest money? How are you going to do? It's kind of like someone say, hey, man, I'm driving forward and going backwards at the same time. Back to the Future? I digress. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Let me answer some of you guys' questions. Let's see. Lisa Williams says, I've heard it's best to use an online account because the money is accessible. However, you usually have to wait approximately 24 hours to receive funds. This helps with the impulse buying issue. Can you enlighten more on when to start saving towards 401k and what's the best amount to put in? Immediately, cool DJ. Immediately, you should be essentially saving 15% of the amount of money you make a year. Now, and that's just across the board. Okay, I'm not saying in your 401k, but you should be at least saving 15% of the amount of money that you make in a year, at least, bare minimum. And I tell people when it comes to investing, a lot of people are into, I want 1,000 shares of this, 1,000 shares of that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you something. Let me show you something, okay? Let me show you something. So today I'm not doing too bad. I'm up 319%. Let me show you something about investing. Okay. Over the past week, my account has been down. Where is it at? It was down at one point $2,000. Anyone see that? $1,913. That's $2,000 of money that just went away because someone decided to sell off that stock. Okay, a huge investor decided to sell off whatever stocks in my portfolio that I hold assets to, and my portfolio went down $2,000. That's why putting your savings money inside this, because it can be wiped away in an instant. It can be wiped away in an instant, and you will be a fool to put your emergency savings inside your investment account. I cannot stress this enough. You should be putting your savings money, your emergency savings money, inside of a regular old savings account. Now, Lisa, you're talking about putting your money in an online account, but I'm gonna tell you this, and this is where we have to exercise self-control. You're going to need an ATM card for your emergency savings account because you do not know when an emergency will happen. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. All right, today is December the 8th. I say December 16th, 2020 at 10:30 a.m. I'm going to have an emergency. If you can schedule your emergencies, you'll be the richest person on earth. Emergencies and accidents are exactly what they are. They're incidental. They just happen. Okay, Murphy's Law. Whatever will happen, whatever can happen will happen. And it doesn't tell you when it's going to happen. So with that emergency fund, whether your account is online or inside of a brick and mortar bank, I believe, my opinion, you still need an ATM card, and you need to have some self-discipline and self-reserve so you don't use it for a clearance sale. For you don't use it because Pier 1 went out of business and you want an entertainment system. So you don't go into Target and buy up all the Tefal pots and pans. Because you went to the Coach store and you want a new purse. Because you saw the new Jordan Retro 3s come out and you want to buy that. Don't do that. put your money in a regular old savings account. You're not going to get too much return on your money. You're not going to get too much return on your money. But yeah, they give you a couple of pennies on a dollar, right? Literally pennies, fractions of pennies. Let me rephrase that. PNC Bank, 0.65%. Popular Bank. No one heard of some of these banks, right? You never heard of these banks. But again, that's what I tell people. You go to the FDIC.gov website for you people who just tuning in. When you're looking at these online banks, right, and you see these savings rates, and me, I'm finicky when it comes to online banks because I'll check the bank out. I want to make sure that I'm weird. The colors attract me. The way that I sign up for the account attracts me. I want to have a seamless experience when I'm opening up a savings account for my emergencies. I want things to be easy. I want things to be upfront. I want things to be very, very transparent and clear. Because where I'm putting my emergency fund, because when I have an emergency, I don't want to wait 24 hours. I don't want to wait 24 hours because when is the last time you had an emergency and you're like, hey, everybody, I know he got shot, but let's wait 24 hours till my bank to clear. Where they do that at? No, that's not an emergency. Okay. So you got to be very smart. Now, take for instance, and I showed people this before. When you go with an online bank, the only thing you need to go to is FDIC.gov to make sure that this is a real bank. And make sure that your money with this real bank is insured. And FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Okay. That is backed by the federal government. So even with our $27 trillion in debt, you'll still get your money. Okay. It's insured by them. And as you notice, it shows all the places where they do it. What about Wyoming? That's weird. But anyway, you come down here. Give me 1 second. There's a bank find. See right here, ladies and gentlemen. You go right here. Let me blow this up for you guys. And the only thing you do to make sure that bank is legitimate is go to bank find on the FDIC website and make sure your money with that bank is insured. And when you look for these banks, okay, let's take, for instance, let's take a popular bank like US Bank, right? I look up US Bank. Now, a lot of times on these banks' websites, they will give you their city, their state, and their zip code. Type all the information in there that you can, okay? But you really don't have to do all of that. But if a bank is a huge bank, you're going to be looking for a long time. So let's take, for instance, let's do something like this. So I'm going to look up US Bank, okay? US Bank. And I'm just showing you guys how to make sure that the bank you're banking with is legitimate. It doesn't matter. I know this is a big bank, but you can do it with a small bank as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take this URL. I'm going to go over here. Really? That's what we're doing? And I'm going to put it in here. I already got US Bank up here, and I'm going to hit search. Okay? Look at this. What this is telling me is that US Bank, right here, usbank.com, is active. And their current FDIC number is 6548. Then they have specific locations. So to go further inside this research, you hit specific locations, okay? And you're going to go in here, you're going to look, and you look at the corporate website, you can look at all that, but you want to make sure that you're matching that bank that's online to the FDIC website. This is how you check to make sure the bank is legitimate, right? So let's take Popular Direct. And this is going to help you guys out a lot, okay? Let me show you this very quickly, okay? Because a lot of these banks you never heard of, they're backed by and they're sponsored by a bigger bank, okay? So Popular Bank, that sounds like straight trash in my opinion, like Popular Bank. Like, I don't even know what that is, okay? So let me go back. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to type in Popular Bank. So Popular Bank pops up. That doesn't mean that they're real yet. Let's just see. Let me get rid of this and search. All right, Popular Bank. Popular Bank. So let me go to Popular. Let me see if I can go to Popular Bank's website. This is how you break it down. This is how you break it down. Nope, they're not giving me that. Let me use this. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure you guys are putting your emergency savings in the right bank. Okay. So I'm looking at Popular Bank. As far as the website looks legitimate, but that really doesn't mean anything to you. Okay. So I come down here. It has a New York location. Their corporate headquarters is 85 Broad Street, New York, New York. You see that, right? And then it says right down here, and this is what they do mostly, that we're a member of the FDIC. Okay. So your address is 85 Broad Street, New York, New York, and you say you're a member of the FDIC. It also says it right here, and also the equal housing lending. Okay, cool. I go here. I look up Popular Bank. It says that the FDIC membership is, look, 85 Broad Street, New York, New York. The FDIC number is 34967. This is a legitimate bank that your money is actually backed by. Okay? So this is how you make sure that any of these online banks that you see, okay, all these online banks that you see that you never heard of are legitimate. But ladies and gentlemen, I really have to push the narrative. Please, the money that you have in your savings account, please don't use it for nothing silly. Down payment on a car. That's not why your emergency fund exists. Down payment on a house. That's not an emergency. You just need to wait longer and save up more money. Because here's the thing, regardless if you live in an apartment or a house or a trailer or a condo, doesn't matter, or in a tree, doesn't matter. You need to have an emergency savings account. And it needs to be in a savings account that you guys can access immediately. Not 24 hours, not 48 hours. Wait for the money to clear. I need to transfer to Western Union. No, you need to have an ATM card, and you need to practice self-discipline. And when that emergency arises, and it will, you can go right to the ATM, get cash out, and handle your business. That is what is important. And again, here are some banks. Synchrony Bank, I know you guys heard of that. Pentagon Federal Credit Union, you probably heard of that. I never heard of the Last Bank. Live Oak Bank, I've heard of that one. American Express National Bank, I've heard of that one. Salem 5 Direct, never heard of it, but I'll check it. You get what I'm trying to say. CIBC Bank, I've heard of PNC Bank, I heard of Citibank, so on and so forth. Okay? And again, please, if you are investing your savings, then that money is not emergency savings. You can't do both. You can't take your emergency savings and invest it. That's investment money now. That's not savings. Because essentially, when you try to go to your investment account and you want to sell some of your stocks, it's going to take anywhere from 3 to 5 days to get that money. It's going to take 3 to 5 days to get that money. It's going to take 3 to 5 days to get that money. So you need a bank where you have an ATM card in the case of emergency, okay? Not because you got dirt on your new shoes, but your washer goes out, your dryer goes out, your stove goes out, okay? Your house is flooded and the insurance company are playing games. These are emergencies. You need to fly because someone is fatally ill, okay? And you don't have enough money in your regular bank account. You're like, okay, I'm gonna take, this is an emergency. I need to go see this person before, the worst happens. So we need to define what an emergency is. And again, before I get off here, I want to break this down to you. The things that are included in your emergency fund, you must consider your lifestyle. You must consider your lifestyle, because what's going to occur is during this emergency time period, whether you lost your job or you're in between jobs. People say that, if you're in between jobs, you're unemployed. Okay, let's keep it 100. But anyway, this money is to sustain your lifestyle, because your lifestyle will take over during your emergency period. Does that make sense? Your lifestyle will take over during your emergency period. What do I mean? So you say, you know what? I'm only going to save for my mortgage. I'm only going to save for my rent. So you got 6 months of just your mortgage, even though you got electricity bill, you got a water bill, you got a gas bill, you got a grocery bill, and you have a Starbucks bill. Okay. Because that's what you love. That's your lifestyle. Every day you get your Seattle's Best, your Starbucks, your local corner store, your Dunkin' Donuts, your crispy, whatever coffee or tea, whatever you get. You have a daily routine within your lifestyle. Whether you're working or not, this is what you enjoy. You must factor that inside of your emergency savings. Because what's going to occur is, when you shortchange your emergency savings because you want to splurge or spend money somewhere else, during your emergency, you're going to get back into that regular routine. And you're going to start shaving and taking money out of that emergency fund. And then that 6 months of your mortgage is going to end up with your 2 months, because you didn't factor your lifestyle and all your expenses every month. I'm going to read your notes and get out of here, guys. All right. Let's see here. Cool DJs, can you enlighten more on when to start saving towards 401k and what's the best amount to put in? Like I said before, Cool Day, you need to start saving on your 401k immediately. Okay? Immediately. And what you need, and what I always tell people, most employers, they match you. Okay? I would do the exact match. They match me 4%, I'm putting in 4%. If they match me 5%, I'm putting in 5%. Because there's other things you can do with your money. You can increase your emergency savings. You can increase your individual investments. You get what I'm trying to say? So the employer does 3, 4, 5%. I'm a master employer with my 401k. Now, granted, you can always do more. You can always do more. But I like this matching and then kind of use my money in other places of investment. Like have my own IRA. See where I can get some bonuses and extra money in investment accounts there. Okay, having a trust, having a where a trust can actually multiply your money as well, whether it be an irrevocable trust or irrevocable trust. Okay, so but you need to start now. There's no doubt about that. Joshua says, but I like Jordans. Okay, well, use your emergency savings on Jordans, and when you're homeless and broke and poor and hungry, make sure your Jordans feed you. Let's see, Ashley Hawkins, Grand Rising. Good morning, Ashley. Delroy Grayson says, Outlet Finance Review crypto lending position as a savings account. Okay. Going to do this. Is that the second time Delroy just said something crazy? Let's see here. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm just going to remove your message here. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Cool DJ, Ross, what's the best bank to start saving towards 401k? Or did I have to register with a company? America's Best 401k. Okay, I'm going to get this last bit of information, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get out of here. I've been saying that for a very long time. America's Best 401k. I've done the research. In my opinion, this is the best 401k that you can do outside of a corporation, outside of a business, okay? This is the best 401k in my opinion, okay? It's very easy to do. Start a new plan, review my plan, blah, 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 blah. And it gives you a breakdown. America's Best 401k versus typical 401ks. Eliminate brokers, they absolutely do. With your employer 401k, they don't. They get kickbacks. So your return is a lot lower. Eliminate commissions, you bet. typical provider? Never. Eliminate the inclusion of proprietary funds, of course, so on and so forth. And then here's a big kicker here. Two things. Low-cost index funds. Most 401ks are backed by mutual funds, which incur a lot of fees. They use low-cost index funds with very low expense ratios. Whereas though your typical providers, index funds are not offered to smaller plans or sold, then they have huge markups, and they talk about mutual funds and how the commission and hidden fees are within that. Okay. Investment advice for plan participants, one-on-one demand advice for participants. With the other providers, they only educate you on. They don't actually train you and teach you. Plan services, full service includes administration, record keeping, and advisory. And then on this one, it says some other bull crap. Listen to this. Fees, 50 to 70% less on average. Average annual fees are 1.4 to 2.5. Let me tell you this. Any index funds, any mutual fund, if it's over 1%, it's a horrible deal already. It's a horrible deal already. So I always tell people, make sure you know what your 401k is backed by. If it's in mutual funds, ask them what type of mutual funds. Ask them, can you change it? Okay. So in my opinion, this is the best 401k. And right here is showing you some of the worst that are the biggest 401k plans. It says here, below is a list of some, but not all, of the providers where we can typically provide a drastic reduction in investment-related fees that erode your returns. And they get into people like American Funds, AXA, Edward Jones, Fidelity Garden, John Hancock, Lincoln Financial, Mass Mutual, Merrill Lynch, Mutual of Omaha, Nationwide, Newport of Group, One America, Paychex, Principal, Prudential, Securian, The Standard, Transamerica, Voya, and the notorious, the infamous Wells Fargo. Okay? All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. You guys have a great and wonderful morning. I wish you all the best and start saving in your financial future. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great day. I'm out.